Dr. Cutter here with the Chainsaw Hospital. This is part 2 of Adam, this Poulan Micro XXV. And if you missed part 1, be sure to check out part 1 right there. So what we've got here is the fuel line has been replaced, so that's good. Got a new artery in there, and the second part here, we're going to be trying to get this thing to run on its own. It was running and dying when you put fuel down through the carburetor, and that means to me that it's not picking up any fuel through the fuel line. Fuel filter was cleaned in part 1. Fuel line was replaced in part 1, and it's still connected back here. I ended up putting this coupling back in just to make it easier to take it apart. And so next up here, I'm just going to pull this fuel pump diaphragm off of here and just see if it's just stuck. Sometimes they get stuck, and so that might be it. So let me get you in here, and we're going to pull this thing apart and see if we can figure out why Adam wasn't running on its own. Got our carburetor here, and it's got a flathead screwdriver. I've got a flathead screwdriver to pull this flathead screw out, and so let's see what we got in here. Okay, looks like it might have been trying to do a little something. It felt like this was stuck on there pretty good when I pulled it off. Seemed like it was a little sticky. Sometimes just pulling it off like that and getting these guys, they don't look bad. You know, I've seen them all crunchy. These are nice and soft, so they might have just been stuck on there. So what I'm going to do is just stick it right back on here, and we'll try to get this thing going. And this is a WA carburetor, so I'm sure we would be able to match it up to what we, you know, a WA series rebuild kit if we need to. In fact, I'll put the link to the carburetor rebuild kit in the description, so if you were interested and you've got yours. So I'm just gonna maybe pull this off, and what I'll do is I'll pull a vacuum on this hose here, and I'll see if we can pull fuel up through the filter and through the fuel line with the little vacuum pump. So let's see if we can see that. What I'll do is I have a vacuum pump here, an automotive style vacuum pump, and I just have this hose and this adapter on here. So let's see if we can do that. It probably won't take much. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so fuel is moving, or at least it's not obstructed or pinched or anything, so that's a nice way to check. Okay, yeah, things are moving there. So what I'm gonna do is put a little bit more fuel in the gas tank here, and maybe I just splashed a little bit in there, so maybe if I put a little bit more in there, we'll be able to get some gas to come up through the line. Now that we have a full tank of gas in there, let's see if we can get a little bit of that fuel to cycle up through here now. Yeah. All right. Oh, there it goes. Okay. So we've got plenty. Yeah, thankfully I stopped it before it got into the pump. And so yeah, it looks like fuel is flowing. So let's put that on there, and let's go back outside now and see if we can get this thing to start moving some fuel through this line. All right, I'm just going to set the choke manually without the little cover on there. So we got the kind of the fuel primed up through that hose already. So let's see what happens now. Okay, that's a pretty good sign. I'm going to just turn the choke off and pull on it a few times. I'm going to set the choke again. It looks like there's fuel in the line now. Okay, we'll try to start again. Well, now that we got it running, That's pretty cool. Didn't take much. Just I think that diaphragm was just stuck to that body, and so the little flappers in there weren't allowing the crankcase pressure differential to actually move the fuel up through there. But seems like that took care of it. So got lucky on that. I'm expecting the diaphragm side is probably okay too if those flaps on the pump side were still pliable. I'm not even going to take it apart. I mean, it seems like it's running okay to me. But I've got this old filter material here, and I'm going to go ahead and cut a new fuel filter, air filter, for this thing while we've got it in here, because we don't want it to get into respiratory distress by sucking in too much dirt. So I'm going to grab some scissors I've got in here. And I know this isn't the right stuff, but it's a whole lot better than not having anything at all. So let me get you in here and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. This little pocket here is where the air filter should have went, and you can see it's missing. So what I'm going to do is just I'm going to cut this piece here, maybe like that, and see how it fits. Okay, that looks pretty good like that. And I'm just going to fold this thing over, kind of shove it down in there. Like I said, this is going to be a whole lot better than what it was. Probably not the best thing in the world, but I think that'll work for now. So if you guys know of a really good filter that I can use, type of material, just let me know down in the comments there. And got our air filter in place. I'm going to go ahead and put our cover back on. And I need to make sure that this lever here is lined up, the choke lever, and this flap here is lined up. So if yours gets out of time, if it's all wonky this way or that way, just put your flap just a little bit over this larger ring here, and that should line up perfectly with your choke lever. There you go, just like that. So get your slotted screwdriver and run these screws down in there, and then we're going to go outside and make a few test cuts. Got us a little locust tree here that I felled I don't know how long ago, but it's pretty hard. It's kind of drying out now. So here's just some of the little rounds that you know came out of it there. I was practicing, or I was testing a chain that I had sharpened. But let's go ahead and take a few cuts on this. This is a limbing saw, so we'll cut some limb size things with it. So we're just going to flip our on and off switch to on, and we're going to set our choke and see if we can get it to pop. Sounds like it popped. I'm going to pull our choke off. So to check the oil pump stuff, we're going to need to pull this side cover off. So that's it's a 1/2 inch. This happens to be a 13mm ratchet scrunch, but it fits on there pretty well. I mean, just look how much, how good a condition this thing is in. Oh, and the stud came out okay. And I've got a flathead screwdriver, or flathead screw over here. Pull that out, and the side cover should come right off. There we go. It looks like a little bit of oil or something there. Let's see if we can figure out what's going on with this thing. Oh, well, that could be a problem. Looks like it's completely clogged, or the hose probably coming apart. That's probably what it is. All right. Looks like we'll need to clean up some of this stuff here, and I guess we'll dig in there and see if we can figure out what's going on. So the hose, there's just a hose that comes out to the bar pad right here, and down inside of here is the filter and a check valve. So I just brushed off some of this dirt, sawdust, junk, and scrape the rest of this stuff out. Okay, let's go ahead and pull this check valve assembly out. I'll tell you what we ought to do is just dump all the bar oil out that might be in here too, just in case. Yeah, there's plenty in there, so that was not the problem. I've just got an old jug here, and just dump it right down in there. Just going to pull these flathead screws out of here that hold this check valve and filter and set up for the oil pump. Yeah, so the hose is completely broken. Looks like I'm just going to leave the gasket there, and we'll get a new hose put on there. So what we'll have to do is pull out the original hose, and I can see it down inside of here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but oh, it's just coming apart in pieces. Yeah, there was not much left of it. Okay, let's see if we can dump it out of it. There we go. So there's all the pieces and parts and stuff, and we're going to use our handy dandy punch here again and see if we can push that back through there. There we go. And see if we can get that out. Just using that 2-cycle gas to kind of flush everything out. So here's our old fuel line, old oil line, and I don't know what size that is, but we're gonna have to dig around in our box of hoses. Got some of this Tygon here. This looks really similar to what that was. Alright, I can see it inside of there. Got a grip on it. There we go. So if you can see, I trimmed it back, like I cut it in half like that, and then I was able to pull it with my forceps once it got in there. Cut it back a little bit so we get rid of any dirt and debris that was shoved up inside of there. Put it on the barb fitting. And this is directional, so these openings right here need to be at the bottom. So we'll just twist that around like that. Stick that back in there. We've got our little openings toward the bottom. We're just going to go ahead and put these screws back in here. Not going crazy tight with them, but tight enough so it doesn't leak. And what we'll do is we'll trim this long hose off the top here and kind of push it back in with a punch. Let's see, let's just trim it off flush here with the side cutters. Well, let's try it out now. Put some oil back in here and get this thing started up and see if we can see oil coming out of this hole right here without the bar attached. So you can see we did not get any oil out of this hose right here. So that points me to the next culprit, which is this hex head bolt right here, this plug. And that's underneath it here. You probably don't need to take the clutch off, but I'm going to go ahead and take the clutch off. I don't have the exact tool that fits in there, but I have one that kind of goes in these outside here. I think this is a Husqvarna maybe tool. I forget exactly what it is. But there's the number on it, 31116. And if I find the right tool for this, I'll put it down in the description below. So check that out. And I got a 3/4 socket on this little 1/4-inch Milwaukee M12 impact. So let's see if we can get this off. So it's going to be righty loosey, so clockwise to get it off. And it even says off right here with an arrow. So let's see if we can, oh, there it goes. Wow, that was a lot easier than I was expecting. So we'll just keep spinning that off, set that to the side. There's a washer in there. And we'll set that to the side. Looks like there's another washer underneath of there, so we'll go ahead and I'll remove that too while we got it out. And I went ahead and flushed this off so I could get this cleaned up with some. We did some irrigation with some brake parts cleaner and got that cleaned out. So we got a 1/2 inch, and I've got a 1/2 inch on my impact right here. So let's pull that out of there. And what we're going to do is we're going to test with our brake parts cleaner. And so I'm going to put pressure backwards, which it should not flow this way. And it is. Okay, so that's probably not good. And we can do it this way too, which it should go this way. And it is. You can see it bubbling out of there. So that is a problem. So we need to rebuild this, fix it, replace it, buy a new one or something. So I'm not sure what we're going to do with this yet. Well, that's it for part 2. This check valve is going to hold us up from getting our oiler functioning properly. If you guys know, let me know down below in the comments how to repair this. I would love to be able to rebuild this. I'm sure these are not even available in the unobtainium catalog probably. And so anyway, so if you get any ideas or if you know how to do this, just let me know. I would love to know. Anyways, that's about it for part 2. Looks like there's going to be a part 3. I didn't expect it to go on this long, but that's working on vintage power saws, right? So remember, take care of your small engines and treat them well.